double thumb up, but a single thumb up. 7 milk.
Yeah, I'll give it a single thumb as well. So technically it's a double between the two of us. Hooray. But for now, with A-Team taking a 1-0, we have already saved KT. KT cannot go to the Crucible anymore.
They're going to celebrate somewhere. You know, Timeless just popping a bottle of water and splurging it on all his teammates.
Yeah, a little bit of rose water.
Yeah.
Isn't that what they use, like the Formula One, to like make it fizzy rose water? Is that what it's called?
Could be. Yes.
I don't know. Such a weird name, but yeah, that means that it is impossible for TeamNut or the A-Team or RPG to score 12 or more points, and as such, KT, they are going to secure 5th position moving into the playoffs, meaning that at minimum the lowest they can finish is 6th, and as such, they are safe from the Crucible, meaning that RPG, TeamNut, and the A-Team will be the 3 teams at risk, and it will all depend on who goes on to play against Team KT.
Yes, sir. And I'm just very happy for the A-Team right now because, honestly, I think they were waiting. They've been waiting for this moment of success for such a long time, and they had to go through such a tough schedule, right? We saw they had to play against CE, the one lately, and those are not easy to beat opponents by any means. And now when they face a team on equal footing, you know, TeamNut, not really at their full power level yet either, you can really see the progress that they've been working on so far. And both teams actually playing with a temporary sub, right? With Kaitu filling in as the warrior and 7milk filling in as the melee flex right now.
I would argue at this point, unless they plan on a roster swap after this phase, that Kaitu is a bit more of a permanent sub, I would say, at this point.
Yeah, definitely.
That would not surprise me. So they better get used to him and they better get good with him. Stats 9-9 in terms of kills. We already talked about how even this game could be, but it all came down to the structures in the end.
Yeah, 5-1 in the end. A-Team was able to secure one Dragon Knight after the other, and after struggling to find the value of those big things in the early mid-game, they were doing a really good job there towards the end. And Kaitu, we talked about him before. He is crowned our MVP of that match. Not necessarily because he was able to keep himself safe all the time, 4 deaths actually, but because of some really good late-game lightning breaths.
Exactly, those late-game lightning breaths really turned the game around. He had some pretty good engagements earlier on as well. Absorbed a lot of damage for his team. Really nicely done. Kaitu getting the MVP despite having just under half of his team's deaths. This goes to show you should massively always try to avoid dying, everyone. But if you do, you better trade up.
All right, and Tetra, do you see what I see? We're going to Battlefield of Eternity, a 2-lane map, potentially taken, you know, a little shorter than Dragonshire. Dragonshire is probably one of the most late-game oriented maps that we have in Heroes of the Storm, whereas BOE, if you fall behind early with those Immortals pushing against you all the time, this could be over rather quickly.
We will have to see as we are loaded now into the Battlefield of Eternity draft. Once again, this was an A-Team map choice due to TeamNut giving the map choice over to the A-Team in exchange for first pick.
All right, now there's a couple of heroes that have special value on BOE. As you guys all know, Hanzo is an absolute BOSS on that map. So strong with the PvE damage. So valuable. And with TeamNut having first pick, first ban, I don't even think they're going to ban it out because they're probably banking on the fact that A-Team, since they don't have first pick, are going to panic ban it anyways.
So now, with Genji and Maev removed, we've seen a fair amount of Sergeant Hammer bans today. Do you think it'll make it in on this map? Yeah.
Sergeant Hammer on this map is actually pretty good, I would say, because you don't even risk of... like, if you're defending, she can be great because you have additional coverage from the Immortal. But even if you're sieging up, even if you're charging up, then your teammates have a really easy time to stand by you. And Sergeant Hammer getting banned immediately. Hanzo open.
Hanzo is open. But we've seen teams actually drop it down the pick order quite a few times, but not this time. Not having it. TeamNut straight in there, grabbing themselves that Hanzo. Need that Immortal race.
Yeah, absolutely true. Now, other heroes that provide great racing against the Hanzo could be, or even with the Hanzo, could be Li Ming. But we don't see any focus by the A-Team onto any assassins up to this point. They go with what worked for them in game number 1. Once again, we see Diablo and Malfurion in unison. Now, I was a little critical in the early game of the synergy between those two heroes, actually, with the roots either coming a little too late or being a little missed here and there. But if they make it work here on this map, and if they can pull off all the synergy they have, this could be a very scary combo to face, right?
It really could. So will we see... I mean, I wouldn't be surprised to see TeamNut just ban out Phoenix right now to remove that particular wombo. And then it's a question of what will A-Team ban out? They need some kind of support removed. Decade would be the one that makes the most sense.
Maybe ban out the Rainer, because although Olele was sometimes taken out quite handsomely by them, he's still pretty good on this map if he goes for the PvE talent at level 1.
Not this time. With Phoenix and Decade being the ones banned out here, removing the wombo combo from the A-Team, removing the most high priority support away from TeamNut.
It looks like we're gonna see 7 Milk on that Thrall again. By the way, Tetra, definitely a good choice. You don't want to, we don't want to overdo it. Pick that Thrall. It worked well for 7 Milk, who we don't even know if he's a melee flex by trade or if he's actually a support main in his free time. But here goes Lily Ming. A little bit of racing, a little bit of pokey poke, and the Irel for the A-Team.
Oh, I don't feel good about 7 Milk anymore.
Nope.
The A-Team's URL is very good. It's like the one lane they always won, even when they were losing the majority of their maps every time they had that URL. So now that is going to be a rough lane. We're going to really see 7 Milk push to the limit here.
Quite literally, with that hammer pushing him potentially away, pushing him towards enemies when there is a gank going towards him, and we see Tychus and Stukov. Stukov is a very dangerous support when you're playing as Urel because of that silence.
We are. It's also very dangerous to cast because it's going to be Stukov versus Stukov.
Oh boy. Oh no.
Massive irritations for us.
Can we call the player Stukov? Make it a little easier.
I mean, I'm not that good at slurring on command.
No, I'm pretty sure I wouldn't be able to do it either.
Yeah,
but here's the Jimmy.
Keep messing up.
The Terran friend of Stukov and good old Tychus. Although I'm pretty sure Stukov would be a little offended if you called him Terran up to this point.
Yeah, he didn't seem to believe that he belonged with the Terran, so instead he chose to belong with the Zerg. But he's still going to have to fight with Tychus. So hurrah, and fight against Rainer.
Now, Tesher, you tested my StarCraft lore earlier.
I tested your hero's lore, technically.
Oh, yeah, my hero's lore, too. But you also corrected me about StarCraft lore. Do you know the first name of Stukov?
Alexei.
Hey, like a pistol shot there. I like it. That was so fast.
What's Tychus' surname?
Finley.
Yeah, there we go. We're on point. We're on point.
Oh, man.
But Kendrick, here's the hardest one. What's Hanzo's surname? Terrence? just massively panic. Oh, dear. All right. Well, there we go. These two drafts, I think the A-Team's probably got a bit of a home run with this one. Lots of slows. They're solo lane dominant. Race might be a little lower because they don't have the Hanzo, but I think their team fight might make up for it. Let's find out as we head into game number 2, our final game of regular season play, with TeamNut on the left, with No on Hanzo, FS on Muradin, 7 Milk on Thrall, Oasis on Tychus, and a Tui on the Stukov.
And facing them, trying to get their first win in the most recent history, it's the A-Team with Jaina on Li Ming, Olele on that Rainer, again Bruiser's playing Urel, Alfreon being played by Stukov, and Kaitu on his main tank. On his most trusted of allies, it is the Diablo.
Kendrick, do you have a pest problem by any chance?
I don't think I do. I'm fairly clean
here. It doesn't matter because Rainer's called in the Exterminator.
Oh,
going with that
yes,
level
baby.
1 PvE talent. Got to race that Immortal here.
Yeah, that is a really interesting adjustment, right? A lot of people are currently saying that Ace in the Hole is by far his most impactful talent. And I would agree, with very few exceptions. On this map, for example, BOE, if you end up getting those shots on the Immortal, you're going to deal additional 50% PvE damage. If you have Inspire active, his attack speed buff, you're going to make it 100%. Ooh. And speaking of 100, that combo looked good, yo. Like they couldn't do it on Dragonshire, but they're making it work in the laning phase on BOE already. And so much pain and trouble raining down on Hanzo. Terrence.
And FS has to rotate down to the bot lane to keep everything safe and sound, because that was rough. Now, the interesting thing I'm going to keep an eye on is the health bars up at the top of your screen for Yrel and Thrall. You can see 7 Milk for now. He's sustaining through, but look, Bruiser just heals up so much faster.
Now it is the A-team's turn to be a little careful here. Kaito, speaking of which, he's not careful at all. He doesn't even care. The silence is good, though. And down he goes. Yet another overzealous engage by Kaito, A-team's tank player. And what looked like an ambush on the side of A-team turned south and turned bitter. And TeamNut holding strong, securing that bottom Merkham. That's what we're talking about, right? Bruiser dominating 7 Milk, who's already out of mana tetcher. Thrall is not doing so good.
Which character's that?
Stitches. Stitches don't feel so good when he's taking a little bit of poke in game. Sometimes says that.
Wow. I could not remember that line. I guess I'm just always too tanky to actually lose health as Stitches. As we, I like going Savor the Flavor, so I'm usually pretty healthy. Yeah. As we do see the A-team, TeamNut rotating up to the top lane, going to steal away at this Impaler camp, and that's going to make both of them so far captured by TeamNut.
Yeah, I was going to say, you know, they are losing the Mercenary game overall. They lost the Impalers in the bottom, and they're now losing it in the top lane. But what they get up in return with is, of course, a little bit of structural damage. And that, on the other hand, is actually more important, in my opinion, than securing Mercenaries who won't do much here. Because that structural damage will help you get the Immortal closer to the enemy's base.
Well, can I just say here that, speaking of structure damage, how tilted I was, and still am, when I first saw the icon for Exterminator, because it's literally a building with a sword on it, and yet the Exterminator does not do extra damage to buildings. Only minions, mercenaries, and monsters. Still
that
tilted.
Is correct. That is correct. Can you imagine, though, how Jimmy would shred those buildings in the late game with that talent? That would be insane.
Oh, God. Because that would apply to the Banshee as well. You would, they would die. The buildings would straight up die.
Yeah, it would also apply to the give him some pepper, you know, for the bonus damage that it also applies in the first place. So Olele here now trying to basically stay clear of those stunning zones. And who actually had the upper hand here? It was actually TeamNut racing a little faster, yeah?
But TeamNut started quicker. That's a huge deal. The fact is, they had Hanzo. He's not fully stacked yet, but this is going to be a pretty close race. FS having to come in for the delay tactics here, and Hanzo finally going to help his team win the race. Good delays by FS, and that is going to be TeamNut with the first Immortal of the game.
Yeah, TeamNut playing this one really, really well, but you could definitely see a threat of Jimmy, right? Despite the fact that Muradin was trying to delay, despite the fact that he already had a disadvantage coming into this, the power of Raynor and Li Ming combined can never be underestimated. And now there's going to be a tiny little bit of an Immortal, the puny shield, that should be taken down relatively quickly.
Yeah, shield's down, already in melee form. Olele begins burning it down with autos. Kaito finds FS, trying to sneak around the side. Olele blasts Snow, who's trying to use this wall as his own personal damage deliverer. This Immortal will go down, the fort will survive, but it is going to finish off the fountain, which is more than some of them have usually got in the past.
Yeah, very true. The fort remains largely intact, and you could also see another skirmish, another duel go down here between Bruiser and 7 Milk. 7 Milk running low on juice, running low on mana yet again, despite him picking up the Mana Tide at level 4, which is going to give him a little bit of mana back and cooldown reduction every single time his trait procs.
As such, Yrel, though, is going to rotate back to her base. Not going for the fight against 7 Milk because she lost sight of all the enemies. And as such, she was correctly assuming that they would come down to her lane and retreated back to her base to just soak experience and, well, not die.
Tychus, by the way, went for the In the Rhythm talent, not for the bigger they are. So, although it is a Diablo in the enemy team, I think it's a really smart call to go for In the Rhythm because no longer can you guarantee to always blast it onto the Diablo, and if you just lengthen the duration of your minigun, it can also be used very efficiently onto Yrel. For example, if you need to switch targets in between a team fight, or if you were to get blinded, for example, you would still benefit from the minigun a little bit longer. But of course, there are no significant blinds available for A-Team at all.
Exactly. TeamNut aren't wanting to have to limit themselves to one target. They need to be able to be flexible, and that is how they have built their composition here. as we do see the A-Team putting on some aggression, looking to try and take their own fountain and maybe even a fort very early here. But the counter in the top lane, TeamNut going to try and race against Bruiser here, and they will probably get it. Bruiser not even going to try and defend this for good reason. He would die, same situation here with that Hanzo. And Bruiser just hovering around the area. Bruiser needs to be careful who he sees anyway. Yeah, that was interesting. Looks like he nearly landed in the hole.
For a moment, I thought Irel's jump wasn't long enough and she would actually fall down the Battlefield of Eternity to never be seen again.
Yeah, luckily, I believe that those things do technically have a flaw unless you are a ragdoll, yes. So that is good to know. As FS pulls away here, doesn't want to get himself caught out. So interesting, Tychus Relentless Soldier here. This is affected by Yrel's stun, so even if you're on dives to the backline, Tychus still aiming to be tanky.
And once again, this time A-Team, they want to defend. They realize, you know what, we didn't make the race last time. We're probably not going to make it this time either with the exact same positioning on those Immortals as we had in the previous phase. So they're trying to maybe catch the Hanzo. That would be the dream come true. They're trying to go for the murder, and the roots are good, and the burst damage is real. Down goes the Dwarf.
Hanzo used some of that time, though, to get a little bit more immortal damage, just a bit. Yrel is using this time to get some forts to clear out the mercenaries. Now, this is interesting because it means the A-Team can't send someone to actually do the immortal. They are literally just delaying right now. This immortal will go down. Hanzo can stack from pretty much any point on this map. He's going to be able to ping from miles away. Finally, with Yrel returning, they're going to try and play a little bit more aggressively for their defense while Reina starts burning down that immortal.
Most important thing for the A-Team right now is to intercept those scatter shots some way, somehow, and keep Hanzo at a safe distance. For now, though, Diablo in trouble. Can't jump over the wall, buddy. He's trying to get out there. The silence zoning him completely, though. And Jimmy, just barely not enough damage to actually take down that blue immortal.
Just short on the race, but once again, it's a very low shield immortal. But Olele in trouble. He goes down, and TeamNut pick up yet another kill. 3-2 in their favor. And with this immortal, yeah, it's a low shield, but they might be able to get a fort with it.
Yeah, I actually think they're definitely going to get a forward with this. You know, they're already in position. As you can see, Team A-Team, they're still scattered around the map. Jimmy's going to need 5 more seconds until he actually comes back from the Hall of Storms. So, yeah, a crucial mistake, once again, in my opinion, by Kaito, overextending and overestimating his own tankiness, don't you think?
Speaking of estimating own tankiness, Kaito with no souls is dead.
Yeah, I'm not sure if the Nature Skewer was ready there or not, because that could have maybe helped him to remove that movement speed slow on the Kaito. But yeah, maybe it was probably still on cooldown. Here we go. The Banshee is here to defend, but what is one tiny Banshee against a big fat Odin in the backline?
Dead is what it is, as a silence comes in from Stukov to finish it off after the damage that was dealt by Oasis on that Odin. They're going to take down the front wall, but that's going to be it for this case. Once again, the Immortal with that low shield gets about as much damage as it could, and then the A-Team clearing it up pretty effectively.
And right now, A-Team needs to be very careful, especially Kaito. Sometimes there's the so-called Diablo syndrome, in which you lose all your stacks, you come back as tiny dibbles, but you want to get back right into the action when you're actually supposed to farm some souls again. And on 2-lane maps, Tetra, right, it's not that easy to farm those souls because there's one less lane to soak them from.
That is correct, and as such, he has to very much rely on that Fire Stomp to get those stacks. We see the Echo of the Elements and Dash both completed about the same time here for Thrall and that Tychus, giving them that mobility and, of course, the extra damage.
Yeah, it's such a good tool there as well compared... Oh, actually, not really too slowly. Not that bad. Olufo was really fast on that one. 25 regeneration globes in that short amount of time. That's insane.
What map would that have been on? It had to be Braxis or something. Tomb makes sense as well. Braxis or Tomb. As we see Olele getting rooted. This looks familiar. Dragon Arrow. This time Nature's Cure. Here comes Tranquility, keeping him alive. So much healing. Gets out of the silence. Kaito is being a great distraction, giving Olele a chance to turn this round onto FS, who is dropped low and has to escape over the wall. As in comes the Yrel, but with the Argent Defender active, Atui says, nope, we're done here, and uses the Flaming Swipe to disengage.
So much healing on the Jamie and armor as well, thanks to the level 4 Fight or Flight. You know, you activate your Adrenaline Rush, you get 25 armor. Then Malfurion even had to use Tranquility because he was already affected by that heal. Raynor received another 10 armor on top of that. And if Raynor had fallen here, I think this would have been a completely different team fight. So well played by the A-Team. So protecting Marshall Jimmy. If still, once again, pretty significant deficit, though, in terms of immortal health.
even with this Reina build.
Yeah, Hanzo, you can beat him.
Still
Like, you can't beat
so
him.
much faster. It's insane. That is absolutely mental that is a thing. Li Ming's finally going to come here, though, so they might actually be able to turn this with all of their heroes here. But first things first, FS forced off the point. Hanzo just makes his way back over to his Immortal for the safety, and then sneaks around the side to begin working on the A-Team's Immortal again. Roll is dead, though. FS dives super deep to try and follow up and give protection, but decides to leave
Hanzo?
as well. Problems. They're trying to go after Hanzo, but Hanzo's found his own base.
All right, without Thrall, I feel like this formation of TeamNut is now going to crumble. The only good news is that Hanzo was able to make it our life because they were already about to chase him down. And here comes the Banshee, here comes Olele's damage. And for the first time in this game, we are going to see a red Immortal descend from the skies. And this might be that one moment in time for the A-Team to finally catch up and stabilize. The only thing they need to be aware of right now is that they're not 13 just yet. So play passively until the Immortal takes down the tower, maybe the fort, and then fight in even terms.
Ardent Defender, literally just back off cooldown. The Raiders Raider, currently still 22 seconds out, as is the Dragon Arrow from Hanzo. Kaitu is in trouble, getting rooted with the Virulent Reaction, but they turn around and kill Thrall here, as FS is once again realizing he's outnumbered and out of position and has to retreat.
Twice in a row now, 7mil got caught, unfortunately, there by the A-Team, resulting in his team not having Earthquake, not having Thrall to actually deal additional DPS onto that Immortal, and as such, I'm not even sure if they can save those towers.
With the fort gone, they begin moving on to the tier 2s. Yrel, Avenging Wrath is ready, seeing as she wanted to dive, but the root silence, once again, Virulent Reaction value coming in for a Tui, putting on a huge amount of pressure and forcing everyone to back up. They will get one tower and the gate and maybe kills, but no, Stukov not caught in it, able to get the double Nature's Cure.
And here comes Kaitu. Was it scouted out by the enemy team? I don't think it was. A beautiful Apocalypse engage onto Muradin, and the dwarf says goodbye for now.
What a blow of Neil Steel plating, though, used by Oasis to block the follow-up damage from Li Ming as they look for a second kill, but 7mil, he will become the second kill, but he's going to try and make the enemy team work for it.
He's going to try
Burn
to buy
those
a little bit of
cards.
time. The world against Thrall.
Down.
Boom.
And down he goes.
Double kill, staggered deaths as well. We're still relatively early into this game, so not really the worst thing that could have happened. And within like 1 minute and 15 maybe, that was 3 deaths on Thrall, unfortunately. But also that combo, that initiation, textbook style coming in from Kaitu on that Muradin. And that is why, ladies and gentlemen, Lightning Breath is not always needed here, by the way. I don't think I've ever seen Diablo ride a wolf, by the way. That looks terrifying as hell. But the good old Apocalypse can still be a formidable tool to actually lock down the target that is required and desired. And, you know, snowball from there.
Bot lane being pushed up by the A-Team, putting on that pressure. Like I said, snowball can begin here as the A-Team moving into the bot lane to grab that forward, the Impaler camp, sorry. You see TeamNut, though. They may be in position to try and interrupt the rotation.
They missed each other because of vision.
They know he's there, though, but as such, because they all show trying to chase Kaitu, they missed potentially a much more delicious target, like maybe the Reina rotating up there.
Yeah, that was so close. Like, you could really see how Muradin in the bush and Diablo right next to him didn't see each other.
Oh my.
Nut FS in trouble. Uses the Dwarf Tusk to safety and the healing static, keeping him alive for now. Banshee.
Dragon Arrow landed, but didn't get that much damage.
Yeah, Aulele is using those Banshees a little too easily, in my opinion. Like, those things can really be useful in the team fight. Beautiful combo there between the two warriors, but now comes Tychus in the Odin.
Ardent Defender is down, heals Bruiser back up to full, but he's getting CC locked here and taken out. Nicely done. Tried to stay in range, get the maximum health regen, but instead put himself in range for CC.
Yeah, that was a little too over-ambitious, I think, by Yrel. True, she's tanky. True, she's hard to kill. But if that Ardent Defender is on cooldown and you're still trying to re-engage into the enemy team, you deserve to be punished sometimes. And as a result, it is now 4 versus 5. Yet A-Team is not done brawling, fighting just yet.
Lots of damage onto Kaitu, but he's able to survive for the moment. Stormbolt is complete. Hanzo stands in the mortal stun. Don't think he actually realized he was looking for his opportunity for the Sonic Arrow. Gets the flip, Diablo, but no, finds a wall to leap over. Olele burning onto FS, who is once again forced to retreat as the Banshee chases him down, actually, as does Li Ming. A little bit of a heal from a Tui, but can they get him actually? No, they give up. Start beginning to burn down the enemy Immortal.
But they drive him back, and that's basically all they wanted to achieve. With a low HP tank, they can no longer maintain this fight, right? And all of a sudden, it is the A-Team, now reinforced by Urel as well, who came back from the dead, who is going to win this halftime show.
It's only by a little, though. The Immortal's still pretty low. It is raceable. And as such, they're going to stay in the defensive position and start with both teams taking their Fallen Shaman camps.
Yeah, the Fallen Shamans, of course, will provide... Yeah, they will provide a little bit of a distraction. By the way, Jimmy at 13 not going for Giddy Up, but going for the longer duration on his Inspire, and for the movement speed it provides to his allies as well.
Makes sense. Combos with the Exterminator very well, as of course that increases your damage to minions, monsters, and mercenaries to 100% when you have Inspire active. Speaking of Inspire is active. The silence is good, but it's interrupted. Arden Defender as Bruiser goes deep, zoning out No, the main damage here. But the Odin is still going to be enough to force him to retreat as they begin to try and kite and burn down FS. He's too tanky. 7 Milk becomes the target, but the Apocalypse isn't enough. The healing from Tui is too good. No, in serious trouble in the backline, gets taken out. The good silence route onto the Urel. Bruiser tanking through, but FS picks up the kill. 7 Milk, though, dropped low. Kaitu gets delivered to Oasis, actually, via the, via the Flaming Swipe. He's looking for it. He can't get it. But Urel went down, as did Muradin. That's still a 2-for-1.
Yeah, in my opinion here, if A-Team wanted to play this a little more effectively, I think they could have left this Immortal at, let's say, I don't know, 150 health, and wait until Urel respawned with that 30-second timer. But here we see that engagement happen. Urel once again tanking a storm, and this time not overdoing it, running back to the safe, warm hands of Malfurion, and there we go, fighting together. Look at Muradin taking so much damage right now.
He's got Stone Form on, he's getting healing static from basically everyone, and Bruiser, he dives deep here, picking up No, but that's a beautiful virulent reaction from a Tui, which is why I'm glad to see him back on the support. Flaming Swipe just delivers Diablo onto Tychus, but he can't get in range. No more autos, no overpower, no shadow charge, and Tychus got away, but now we are seeing this keep beginning to be threatened.
All right, and Urel is almost back in the mix there as well. 7 seconds until the Ardent Defender's back. 7 seconds as well until the Apocalypse is there. It's only a matter of seconds now until the A-Team is going to put their A-game on and pop the team fight.
Stuck off silence once again, good, but 7 Milk still killed off, as is Diablo, but he has 100 souls, he will be back. Bruiser getting focused, the keep is down. This is a retreat strategy right now, coming in from the A-Team. Urel has finally arrived. But this is just going to be a full retreat. The Immortal goes down, and it's the first keep of the game going over to the A-Team.
Yeah, and this was, you know, a worthy sacrifice, I might want to say. True, Diablo is going to be significantly less survivable and resilient right now because he lost his stacks. But trading that for permanent damage on BOE, like destroying keeps on BOE, is probably more valuable than almost any other battleground because of how hard it is to really defend against those catapults when you're in the middle, when you're trying to contest another Immortal, right? So definitely a good, favorable outcome for the A-Team, and they're using their momentum right now to maybe contest this Fallen Shaman camp as well.
Certainly going to try their best, but the A-Team, they do take that Fallen Shaman camp. It's going to be cleared up in no time at all. It doesn't really do anything. It's just a denial play for TeamNut, removing any kind of comeback potential they might have.
It's keeping them busy, which allows them to rotate for the remaining mercenary camps, because at this point, Tetcher, I think it's safe to say that the A-Team, the only way they can lose the advantage that they've got right now is by taking an unnecessary team fight. So what should they do instead? Take mercenary camps, wait for the Immortal to arrive, and then play with those catapults. Wait until the catapults arrive at the core of TeamNut, wait for 1 or 2 people dealing with it, and then engage in the middle and get that victory home. And TeamNut knows that time is not on their side, right? They know they need to do something. They're trying to posture up and prepare a gank for that one mercenary camp that is going to be activated in 15 seconds. Kaitu, is he smelling something?
They will not be expecting this as they burn down Diablo. FS leaps forward. Dragon Arrow does not land, though. That's potentially bad news. But they're now looking down Olele, trying to chase him.
Run, Jimmy, run!
Good Nature's Cleanse. The stun for Bruiser, though, doesn't land. Olele still in danger, and he gets taken out. Double kill achieved by TeamNut.
And this is exactly how TeamNut needed to play it, and this is exactly not how A-Team was supposed to play it, right? I mean, sure, they didn't have vision. They couldn't have expected TeamNut to go that route, right? But they need to at least send in the flames, send in the Moonfire to basically make sure they do not face check at this moment in the game when they just noticed, you know what, our enemies are probably going to get desperate. They're trying to set something up, so we need to be extra careful. We need to be on our tippy toes. And
now with the halfway point reached, this is going to be potentially the biggest immortal that TeamNut have had so far. And with Keeps being the target here, they might be able to push to core with a full shield immortal or a close to full shield immortal. That's the attempt. Bruiser's porting back. We're not going to see a backdoor attempt from the A-Team, at least yet.
Yeah, I'm not sure if they're desperate enough yet to try and backdoor, because they still have, you know, both towers and a gate and a keep in all lanes, so I think they should be fine. And the worst outcome, like, the best outcome for the A-Team is obviously to just lose a keep, because I don't think they can defend it. The worst outcome is they lose team members while trying to defend that keep, and then they're going to lose the game. So let that keep fall if all things look mighty grim. The main thing is you stay in the game.
Yeah. This is a great news for them, though. Them grabbing that Fallen Shaman camp pulled everyone of TeamNut away from this Immortal, which means they've got
much damage already onto it.
That's fantastic. Damage, completely unharassed.
That's fantastic for the A-Team. I didn't expect the shield to go down that quickly, but if you have the Jimmy, if you land all those 5 magic missiles by Jaina, then you're going to be absolutely in phenomenal shape. Oh no, I don't know if they should be focusing on the Warrior, on the Muradin so hard. Okay, I'm glad they don't commit to it.
Dragon Arrow whizzes past and drops off a no. He is now with his team, making it a full 5-man. Everyone grouped up here. Bruiser dodges the big red button. With the keep down, this where the Immortal still at full health. We're gonna see the core attempt. Kaitu dropping low. He does not have souls. He teleports away though. Bruiser into the backline. Here comes the control chaos. Once again, knocking Bruiser back. But we see Thrall going down first. The Immortal doing huge damage. We see Reyna taken out as well. That's a lot of Immortal damage. They needed him alive to take the Immortal. Jaina needs to do something about this Immortal as the core is going down. They're running out of time. They've run out of damage. And that is GG. TeamNut take the 1-1.
And the Nuts, they did it in pretty good fashion here. They were getting dominated for the most part of this game. But guess what? That one nice ambush, that one sneaky rotation around the map to try and invade the half of the A-Team, that was enough. That is all that takes. You bust down the tanks of the enemy team and you secure the mercenary camp and you stabilize from there. They ended up getting a huge Immortal as well, which melted down the keep of the A-Team, and they just brought it home. Despite losing Thrall very early on yet again, what they did then, I'm not sure if you guys saw it, after losing Thrall, everybody spread out so that Li Ming wouldn't get the value of the resets, and nobody was actually hit by that Arcane Orb or by the missiles as a combo result. So well played in the end by TeamNut. I think they've redeemed themselves, Tetcher, and I think both teams can walk away with that point without being overly sad about it.
I would agree. Very nicely done here. And as such, these two teams, they do stay in the bottom 2 positions. A relief for RPG, very much so. But it does mean they're going to be playing against each other. And due to the fact the A-Team did not choose 0, they don't end up actually tied. So I guess that's nice for the morale of TeamNut. But what this does mean is we have our final standings. And, well, these two teams are going to have to play each other again in a best-of-5 next week.
So the rematch will be real. The question is Fei Yi for TeamNut going to make it in time? Because although 7 Milk looked pretty okay on that Thrall, I don't think is on the level of Fei Yi. And maybe with their full roster reunited finally, they can actually dominate the A-Team a little harder than they did today.
I would think so. With Fei Yi on board, I do feel it. But A-Team, I also feel that they were a little bit weaker than the A-Team we saw yesterday or at the end of last week. Yeah. I think that they still have potential, even with Fei Yi, of maybe taking down TeamNut. It's going to be difficult. And after that, either one of them's got to play against RPG. So it's not an easy run for either of these two teams to get out of those crucible spots. But it is possible.
That it is. All it takes is a touch of RPG that we saw last phase, right? When RPG was at the rock bottom, we thought all hope was lost, right? We didn't expect them to qualify. We didn't expect them to make it in the playoffs. But then, out of nowhere, a streak, a killing spree, if you will, fighting their way up all the way to 6th or 5th place. I don't remember exactly, but it was amazing. And why shouldn't A-Team or TeamNut be able to do the exact same thing? In the playoffs in China, everything is possible.
Everything is possible. It's the only region that lets the bottom 2 teams actually compete.
Yeah.
It gives them that lifeline, that final chance, that one chance to say, okay, you've had the season. Now this is your last chance. You either do this or you have to play in Crucible. Prove yourself.
And if you would compare those teams, by the way, Tetra, like judging from what we've seen today, if those teams were to face each other again in a week from now for those playoffs, who would you give sway to, or do you think it's too hard to actually tell right now?
TeamNut and A-Team?
Yeah.
I think in a longer series, I've still got to lean towards the A-Team.
Okay. It's going to be best of 5s, exactly. You bring up a very good point.
Exactly. So I think they might have a little bit more longevity, I would say, than TeamNut. But I'm going to be proved wrong, and once again, Faye could be the X factor there. And I am very much liking TeamNut more with 7Milk as a solo laner, assuming he can play more than Thrall, as a solo laner than I am as a support.
Yeah.